But I believe
Avatar: The Last Airbender is the greatest American cartoon of all time. Let's talk about it. For the people who clicked on this video and literally have never seen this show, my God, I have to give this explanation for you. For the people who've seen it, hey twin, we right here. We right here.
Action! Last Airbender was an animated show from back in the day, like when I was a kid, and I'm old as hell now. In this world, not everyone, but most people can harness the powers of different elements: earth, air, fire, and water. Those elements and their people live in particular nations, kingdoms, or villages that have better terrain for their particular bending. But one person can harness all four elements, known as the Avatar, whose job it is to bring peace to the world. The series centers around a young old boy Avatar named Aang, who disappeared and was found 100 years later after the Fire Nation had already conquered and ruled with the worst murderous grip. It's his job to now bring peace, but no one knows he exists. The Fire Nation's trying to kill him, and he has to fully learn and excel in all the bending skills quickly to save the world. Did I mention he's also like 12 years old?
The storytelling, the lore, the development. Enough yapping, I'm ready to glaze. This is literally some of the greatest storytelling that is so immersive in the development and growth of the characters. You can't help but gain compassion for a 12-year-old having the responsibility of saving the world. The relatability of Sokka trying to find his place as a non-bender on the team, Katara being a mother figure, and Zuko having the greatest redemption arc like LeBron in the 2016 finals. Ooh, I get excited talking about this. The craziest thing is that all of the main characters are kids. I thought it was a little weird at first that Aang and Katara had crushes on each other. I'm like, whoa. But the main characters are literally between the ages 12 to 16. What's even crazier than that is that this show is made for kids 7 and up. But if we're being honest, you gain such an appreciation for this show when you watch it as an adult. The amount of rewatch that this show has and still being able to enjoy it each time that you watch it, it's what makes this show such a classic. And even saying that just now, I didn't even realize this show came out in 2005. That's 20 years ago. This shit is really on this LeBron shit, bruh. It's the LeBron of cartoons. I'm popping my shit today, twin. Honestly, it being a kid's show is what made it so innocent and genuine. The light jabs of humor sometimes be corny, but hey, Sokka be having me geeked. The overall mission is that Aang is going to one day have to face the Fire Lord, with the fate of the world literally counting on him. And even though inevitably he's going to have to face this, each episode takes you to a different journey of each character, showing you why they're in the position that they're in. Zuko from the beginning of the show is the main antagonist and is the son of the Fire Lord who must capture the Avatar to regain honor, blah blah blah. From the beginning of the show to literally the very end, he shows his personal growth by finding his own way and finding his own purpose, to even going against his own family to help the Avatar. The lore in this story is insane, and Aang trying to learn how to bring balance to the world, but before realizing that he has to gain balance within himself. That's deep. Katara, to me, being one of the most frustrating characters when watching, but also one of the most needed characters, bringing a lot more emotion to the storyline and a softer touch. Shorty will have you tearing up with that backstory. Toph being one of the greatest benders, and yes, I will stand on that. Argue with me in the comments.
I am the greatest earthbender in the world.
Coming in to teach Aang earthbending, and starting off as a lone wolf but learning how to adjust and adapt to being with a team, they use this level of development from each character to push the plot and build suspense to Aang's final decision against the Fire Lord Ozai. Alright, now let's get to the cons. As a film connoisseur, I have to be able to talk about the good and bad when it comes to critiquing. To me, there aren't really bad episodes, they're just episodes that aren't as good. You know, the filler episodes when we get a whole backstory of Appa and Momo, but even in that, they still add to the story in some way, shape, or form. Some people may talk about the comedy of it, you know, being a little corny with the one-liners, but hey, I'm fine with it. We're adults who took over a show made for 7-year-olds. I expected.
Yeah, I've been waiting to use that one.
Another thing that be throwing me off is the inconsistencies when it comes to bending when they're fighting. It be so many times where I'm like, bro, you looked at like the greatest bender last episode, and now that your life is on the line, you don't know what to do. Like,
I saw a video once about how earthbending is overpowered because earthbenders can bend the dirt beneath their opponent's feet. And the only thing that keeps earthbending fair in the universe of Avatar is the fact that earthbenders just choose not to do this very often. Because it'd be unreactable, right? Every earthbender should start every fight by making a ditch underneath their opponent's feet and then crushing their ankles before the fight can even begin. But the show does have a way to balance this. The only problem is, it's wildly inconsistent.
this is more of a personal issue, but some of the decisions that the characters make, it be pissing me off. When Aang needed to reach the Avatar state and he blocked his chakra because he was sitting there fiending over Katara. When Zuko decided to betray his uncle, the nigga who's been helping him the entire show. When Katara was about to get revenge on the man who killed her mom, and she started going off on everybody, including her brother who has the same mom.
Katara, she was my mother too.
Yeah, bitch.
But I think Aang might be right.
Then you didn't love her the way I did.
Katara.
I think overall there is a good balance of action, humor, and drama throughout the show. But sometimes they decide to go the all-American route where every conversation is an unneeded therapy session. In book 3, when Zuko and Azula went on vacation to Ember Island and everybody was sitting there by the fire and, oh my gosh, just trauma dumping away. My father will never accept me. I must restore honor. I'm like, my G, I'm cool on that. We're good. We don't need this, actually.
Here we go. Do you have any idea what my home life was like? Growing up with 6 sisters who look exactly like me?
Having a whole Dr. Phil episode for the Fire Nation, like, no. Like I said, I'm trying to be like open-minded to somebody who clicked on this video and never watched the show. The ending, I don't know if it's just because as like I'm rewatching it, I feel like the ending was maybe a little anticlimactic. I don't know. Maybe it's a personal issue that I don't like happy endings. Paul, that was like a big build-up. And another thing I will say is we don't really get a lot of Fire Lord Ozai, who is supposed to be the main mission for the Avatar. We get him briefly throughout, and we get like a quick backstory of his lineage, but we just don't get a lot. I gotta look inside myself why I don't like for niggas to be happy. I don't know. I mean, the animations, they aren't the greatest thing in the world. They go with a very simple style, but outside of those that I listed, there really isn't a lot that I would change. I will say this though, the discourse around The Legend of Korra, it's disgusting. And when I do a full rewatch, I will expeditiously be talking about that.
Pathetic. Of all the avatars I've worked with, you're by far the worst.
Alright, let's get back to pushing agendas. The nostalgic excitement that I get from this show is, it's a better rush than crack cocaine in the 80s.
Peter, what are you doing? Crack? What the?
You know, I could yap all day, but I don't want to make this a long ass video, and I might leave room for a possible part 2. From the storytelling, from the plot, to the growth of the characters, the writers made such a captivating animation. For it to be considered a kid's show, they talk about some pretty deep issues, from genocide to trauma to women's rights, I guess. The thing pushes for compassion, balance within yourself, learning to let go, quality, and making very tough decisions. Aang was raised by air nomads who were monks, and he was, what felt like forced into a decision to take somebody's life, which went against his morality but would bring peace to the world. I ain't gonna spoil the choice that he made for, those who ain't seen it, but I genuinely, when I watch this show, it is a top tier. If you don't want to say it's the best of all time, hey, I'm fine with that. I don't give a fuck. But it is a top tier show, bro. And hey, if you disagree with anything that I said, hey, put me on game. Maybe I missed the show. Maybe I didn't think of one. My bad. Spark a conversation in the comment section. Bring balance by liking and subscribing, and I'll catch you in the next video.
It's a cold Sunday to complain. I hold it in until it rains.